In this video, we are going to be looking at the different methods that we have for doing our division questions. So take a couple of minutes just now and have a think of what methods you know that we can use to work out our division questions. See if you came up with any of these ones. We can share out our number. We can also group our dividing number. We can partition our number to make it simpler. We can use the inverse, which is the opposite operation, which in this case would be multiplication. And we can also use the bus stop method. I'm going to break these down and have a look at them individually. So the first one we're going to have a look at is our sharing or grouping. But first of all, if we've got a question in front of us, we have to work out whether it is a sharing or a grouping question. So how do we know which one we have to do? Take this question as an example. So if John had 9 sweets and he shared them equally between his 3 children, how many sweets would each child get? So let's think about this one. We know that John's got 9 sweets and we know he's going to share them between 3 children. So therefore, this question is a sharing question because we know he is sharing this amount, which is 9, which is the total amount, between 3. So he's going to share them into 3 groups. So if we were doing that, we could do this pictorially, we could draw it out. If we have our 9 dots at the top, that represents our 9 sweets. And if we are sharing them between his 3 children, we're going to need 3 groups to share between. So one of our dots goes in our first box and we can cross that out so we know we've dealt with it. One into our second box and one into our third one. Then we go back to the start and start again. One into our first one, cross it out, one into our second one, cross it out, and one into our third one and cross it out. So we can keep going, we know we can keep going because we've still got some left to do. So let's have one in our first one in our second one, and one in our third one. We have no sweets left to share out. We've got 3 in this one, 3 in this one, and 3 in this one. So we can conclude that 9 shared between 3, so divided by 3, it gives us the answer of 3. So that would be a sharing example. Now let's have a look at this next example. This time, John has 12 sweets. And John is going to put those 12 sweets into bags of 4. So each bag is going to have 4 sweets in it. So he's got 12 sweets and he is putting his sweets into bags of 4. What we have to work out is how many bags will he be able to make. Now, this time we know how many he's got. He's got 12 sweets. But it tells us that he puts the sweets into bags of 4. That means that he is putting them into groups of 4. So every time he makes a group up, he has to make sure that there is 4 in each. So that means that this is a grouping question because it tells you how many we need in each group. So let's work this one out. Again, we can do this pictorially. So I've got my 12 dots at the top, that represents my 12 sweets. And we are sharing them, we're sharing them into groups of 4 because he wants 4 into each group. So there's 4 in that group, and we can cross off 4. We need to make another group of 4. Can we make another group of 4? Yes, we can. We've just checked that we've got enough left. And once we've put them into a group, we need to make sure that we cross them out so we know that we've ticked off all of our sweets at the top. So we have shared our 12 sweets into 3 groups because we made sure we had 4 in each group. So 12 divided by 4 equals 3. The grouping and the sharing methods are really only efficient if your dividend, which is the number that you are dividing, is quite a small number. As soon as you get into bigger numbers, you need to think of a different method that you can use that is going to be efficient. Otherwise, it's going to take too long.